on this growth track this morning, and that is going to be Alessio from Facebook. Alessio is going to talk to us about how to introduce gaming services, so login, sharing, and player finding experiences from the Facebook side. Alessio, how are you doing? You're still on. Oh, yeah. Hey, how's things?
Hi. Hello.
Hi there. How you doing? Great. So I will hand over to you and let you talk to us about what you guys at Facebook are up to.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for hosting. It's a pleasure to be back on the stage, even if virtually this time. I'm going to share my screen. So give me 1 second, a very 2020 moment. Can you see my screen?
Can't see it at the moment. Oh, hang on.
Is it up yet?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, hi everyone. Welcome to this session. Today I'm going to share the latest news around new SDK features that we developed specifically for games. We're calling them gaming services, and they include Facebook login for games, sharing for games, and new player finder features. So starting September 15th, starting tomorrow, all new game apps that are onboarded through Facebook will be able to integrate these gaming services across Android and iOS. During our game developer showcases in March, we talked about these upcoming gaming updates, and today we're happy to share more details around these gaming-specific services and products. My name is Alessio Aristide, and I'm part of the strategic partnerships team based out in London, and we help gaming developers to achieve better results with their games by integrating with the Facebook features. So for today, I'll first mention, we'll go through briefly our community and the importance of gaming as a vertical for Facebook. We'll then move on to talk about gaming services, our new suite of features that are releasing for game developers. And we will close with some key facts on how to start integrating with the gaming services offerings in your game. First of all, when we talk about gaming and Facebook, we're really talking about a community of more than 700 million people that every month play, watch, and share gaming content. One of the most important milestones in our journey has been the introduction of the gaming tab. This is the tab you're seeing here on the right. This is where you can find all the gaming content that is relevant to you. And the more relevant this gaming content, the more prominent the tab will be, up until reaching this prime real estate that you see here of the home screen button. This is a testament really of the relevance of gaming in Facebook's mission. Mark also pointed at gaming as one of our 4 strategic pillars for the next decade. So this gaming tab is really just the beginning. As we develop new products, we consider these 3 on the bottom left as our 3 strategic pillars. The first one is watch, where people can watch gaming content from their feed and interact with creators and their communities behind them in new and exciting ways. The second is play, so with millions of players coming every day to play games on Facebook, both on instant games and on Canvas. And third and last is the share pillar, where we're building tools for players to connect with gaming communities by design, while giving developers deeper and more comprehensive tools to expand their player base organically, the K factor you were mentioning before. So our share pillar is also the strategic home of the gaming services suite of features that we're going to talk about today. Our goal with the introduction of gaming services is mainly that of giving more freedom for people to choose how and what they share with developers, while giving them more abilities to connect with other players. And at the same time, giving developers tools to drive engagement from and off Facebook's ecosystem to expand their user base. The gaming services is the laying foundation, the gaming services foundation is laid by the Facebook login for games, which is a powered up version of our traditional login built with games in mind. This builds the tech foundation that enables games to also integrate new features that we are developing, such as sharing, new player invites tools, and much more to come in the next months, like rewards, gifting, and tournaments. Starting with login for games, as I mentioned, this is a new version of login that maintains the same benefits of this traditional version while adding incremental features developed with games in mind. As with traditional login, players will be able to quickly log in with a couple of taps, creating an account, saving progress, and maintaining a coherent experience across multiple apps and platforms, while maintaining the total control of the information they're sharing with the developer for the specific game. We know different rules apply to different game genres, and with login for games being adopted by such a wide array of different games, we wanted to give developers and players the power to customize your experience, even by customizing their player name and avatar. So players will be able to quickly select between their player name on one side and on the other side are the Facebook profile picture every time they log in. So customizing their experience, whether they're playing a more casual or a more mid-core game. With login for games, we're also introducing gaming activity. This is a one-stop hub that you find within the Facebook, the Blue app, that allows players to customize their player identity on Facebook by showcasing the streamers they love, the game they follow, and the game they play, making it easy for other players to find and connect with them in a more comprehensive and deeper way. This is also part of our broader effort to contextualize social experiences for different ecosystems to make them more relevant, whether the context players are interacting with is a business or a game. And this gives more freedom for players to decide what kind of information they are sharing with gaming experiences, being at a gaming group or a full game. As for developers, instead, this new contextualized onboarding experience that you will see from tomorrow, it will smoothen the onboarding process by allowing you to quickly select all the APIs and permissions that are relevant to your specific context, in this case, a game, from the get-go. Login also represents a huge milestone in terms of technical robustness and integrity. First of all, it is based on a separate Graph API domain, creating stronger security and integrity. It is also a true cross-platform solution with platform support including iOS, Android, Unity, Java, and more to come in the next months. And moreover, all the feature metrics are now available by Facebook Analytics, which is a huge plus. So not only you're now able to deep dive not only on login metrics, but also for sharing and player finder. So giving more tools for developers to better evaluate game performance, also from a platform perspective. As mentioned before, so login is just the beginning, really. Indeed, it enables a new world of features, starting with sharing for gaming, which you see here in the video. So this new feature allows players to share their best combos and their gaming experiences on the whole Facebook family of apps and services, including stories, Facebook stories and Instagram stories, and Facebook groups, while giving developers a new tool to expand the player base with socially driven organic engagement. Sharing does not happen on an API, as you see here, but it happens on dialogue. So users will operate on the surface while choosing what they want to share. After this, player will receive a notification when the content is ready, and the player would decide whether to share, where and if to share this content on FB post or stories, on Instagram post or stories, groups, or Messenger. And it also builds on top of user friends, so the feature that enables developers to build player leaderboards. So really, we're expanding the context of what where and how players can share their content. Login, to go to the second feature, also allows games to integrate with a new flow for players to find other players friends to play with, both from the network of friends, which we call the first degree connection, and from the gaming groups of the game they're currently playing, which we call second degree connection. The experience, once again, happens on the FB app side with a quick app switch, which take the player on a new dedicated surface that you're seeing here, where they can explore the gaming profile of the friends they want to invite, facilitating this new gaming connection and expanding the context and the content that they're able to connect through. With this new flow, the player are able to not only invite, as I mentioned, the people from their network of friends, which is currently the case, but also people from the gaming groups that they share the app where the API is currently called. So this opens a whole new world of opportunities to connect people through groups. We're especially excited about player invites for groups because we know gaming groups are such an integral part of the game experience for so many games out there. And this is really the first step in the direction of integrating groups in a more comprehensive, in a more integrated way. So player invites are the first entry points to these group integrations, and player will be able to join gaming groups straight from this, flow full of intention, from this intentful flow. We heard from many developers while in the last year while we were developing these features that people are already jumping to Facebook groups while in the middle of a game session to find players to play with, to look for advice. So it's great to provide this technological bridge to make that happen in a smoother fashion, and also to allow players to learn which friends and second degree connections on Facebook are also following the game's official gaming group. As a developer, you'll be able to set this up, the group connected to your app in a very, very easy way from the app dashboard. So this is one of the features we're the most excited to launch. And so login for games, sharing for games, or player finders are just the first three gaming services that we're introducing, but much more is on the way. In the next months, we'll be introducing a new revamped version of game requests, giving players a new gaming-centric flow to invite friends in the game outside of the flow we mentioned before. And we'll also be introducing tournaments, which is one of the most successful products we launched recently. And then we'll soon see a new version, which is basically more integrated deeperly, integrated in the game in a deeper way. So more to come in the next months. As a recap, so definitely this is a great moment for games. The journey just started. We introduced then the new login experience specifically designed for games, which enables this new series of features that are always developed with games in mind. So a new sharing flow, allowing to share on the full Facebook family of apps and services, including Instagrams and groups. New possibilities for players to find their friends, including inviting players that are part of the same gaming group, and can't wait to share more about the newest developments, including rewards, gifting, and tournaments. So for the time being, as I mentioned before, tomorrow we will launch our early access for gaming services, and we will allow a percentage of newly created gaming apps to be automatically opted in. If your game is not automatically enrolled, you'll see the option for manual opt-in from the new onboarding flow that I mentioned before, should you want to take part in this early access. Of course, your Facebook team is always available for any questions, so feel free to reach out and let's chat about this. We'll be very happy to do that. And lastly, our fb.gg developers hub has all the most recent updates, and that's where we're gonna share more news in the coming months of all the new features that we're going to release. So stay on the lookout for many more info in the coming months. And game on. So thanks everyone. Happy to take some questions if there is any.
Great. Well, thank you, Alicia. That was fantastic. I'm really excited by that kind of possibility of improving the login process, making it better connection with gaming groups. Are there anything sort of particular tricks or tips that you've got for game developers who are keen to implement this stuff?
So the implementation is, as I mentioned, very, very straightforward. So for this first phase, we're going to only onboard newly created apps. So if you have a new game and you onboard this new app from the gaming dashboard from tomorrow, you'll be either automatically opted in or you'll have the manual opt-in side. We have plans during H1 to also transition existing apps to this login. We're making sure one of the things we're making sure that it happens that their users will not be logged out of their existing session. So even in that context, that transition would be very, very easy and very smooth. It's basically as it is for now for the Facebook SDK.
Sure. So somebody's already implemented a Facebook SDK in an older game, they'd need to do some work to unpick that, or would it be a fairly straightforward transition done at the back end?
Yeah, we're still finalizing the onboarding for existing apps, but the concept will be the driving factor will always be like a very smooth full transition and technical robustness that we're building with the team from the gates.
Gotcha. And I think in particular this idea of being able to share and to go cross between groups and to kind of use Facebook, which I think is one of its biggest strengths, is that collective interest. You know, just because someone's into one particular game doesn't mean they're not into other games, and how you cross-fertilize. Is there going to be some kind of plans in place to sort of connect the dots between the kind of user acquisition aspects and also the sort of ongoing engagement of players?
That's a great question. I think like bridging the gap between what players are actually doing, how they're using our platforms, and that's basically the first driving factor in our decision. So we want to be closer to players, and we want to bridge that gap. So this group, as I mentioned before, the group integration is something that players are already doing. So we're just bridging that gap there.
And it's so much in characteristic of the way Facebook seems to me to be generally moving towards this kind of community-centric spaces. Is that a fair summary?
Definitely. Our mission is to create community, and these features are moving in that direction of allowing players to more easily connect to each other in a less, let's say, in a very elegant way, in a very non-spammy way. That's also one of our first criteria when we think about these things. But definitely want to boost that organic development of the user base through these features.
So I've got a question here from Tanvir Ahmed, and it was asking if you can share any games that are already using this in beta, whether we can get a sense of what the sort of ideal implementation might be.
Yeah, so I don't have the games top of my mind, but on the fb.gg developers hub, we have some screenshots from the game that are actually using this, so you can find them there. And in the next weeks, we'll also be publishing some best case, some success stories from early results that these developers that participated in the beta saw. So stay on the lookout also for those. In the next very short term, we'll be posting those.
I think what I find fascinating about this in particular is just how much more engaging you guys are being with developers than maybe historically has been the case. I think it seems to me that you're really trying to pay attention to what game developers are trying to ask for, but also what players are asking for. Yeah. And I think that's something that I think a lot of people will find kind of useful. Does that mean that there's kind of a difference in mindset for you guys about how you want to engage with games?
Definitely. Like as I mentioned at the beginning, Mark put gaming as one of the 4 pillars for the next decade. So you can imagine the impact that has on the corporate culture. So that means that now gaming for Facebook is a top priority. We have a fairly big team that is working on all the different sides, all the different work streams for allowing both developers and players to be connected and to create these communities. So definitely it's going to be from now on is going to be a very interesting time. You're going to see a lot of new stuff coming in the next months.
Well, we just saw the Oculus Quest 2 announcement trailer come out today as well. So definitely seems to be a lot of game-related activity going on with you guys.
There's going to be a crazy autumn in terms of new features. So very excited. It's a very exciting time to be alive.
That sounds great. I think that's all the questions we've got. So thank you so much for that, Alicia. I think it's a really fascinating time to be working with you guys. Be interesting to see what happens. I've got a couple of games we're working on. Definitely going to want to use that tech. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks so much and have a great day.